Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The story of the people of Samod and Prophet Salih, Alehe Salam. The Quran is not only a book of divine laws but also a timeless guide filled with lessons from the history of nations. Among these stories is the account of the ancient people of Samod and their prophet, Salih Alehe Salam. Their story is mentioned in several chapters of the Quran, such as Surah Al-Araf, Surah Hud, Surah Ash-Shu'ara, and Surah Al-Qamar. This narrative is not just a tale of the past but a profound reminder of faith, arrogance, and the consequences of turning away from the mercy of Allah. In this first part, we will explore the rise of the Samod civilization, the blessings Allah gave them, the mission of Prophet Salih Alehe Salam, and the first stage of his invitation to Tawheed, oneness of Allah. The civilization of Samod. The people of Samod were the descendants of the people of Ad, who lived after the time of Prophet Hud Alehe Salam. They inhabited a region known as Al-Hijr, a rocky valley located between present-day Hijaz, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Even today, the remains of their carved houses in the mountains of Madain Salih stand as silent witnesses to their history. The Quran describes them as a people who were gifted with great strength and skill. Greater than, and you carve out of the mountains, houses with great skill. Surah Ash-Shu'ara 149. Unlike many nomadic tribes of their time, the Samod were urbanized and advanced. They carved massive palaces and homes inside solid rock, which provided them protection against weather, enemies, and time. These homes, still visible today, are so durable that they look as if they were built only recently. Their valleys were fertile, watered by springs, and blessed with greenery. Their livestock thrived, their orchards bore fruits, and they enjoyed wealth and luxury. In worldly terms, they had everything: power, prosperity, and security. Their arrogance and pride, but with prosperity often comes pride. Instead of being grateful to Allah, the people of Samod became arrogant. They boasted about their strength, their ability to carve homes from mountains, and their flourishing lands. The Quran records their arrogance. Greater than, who is greater in strength than us? Surah Fussilat 15. This statement reflected not only their pride but also their spiritual blindness. They thought their physical power and advanced civilization made them invincible. They forgot that the same Lord who blessed them could also seize them in his justice. The mission of Prophet Salih Alehe Salam. It was in this society that Allah chose Salih Alehe Salam as his messenger. He was not a stranger but a man from among them, respected, wise, and trusted. Before prophethood, he was admired for his intelligence, kindness, and truthfulness. Many hoped he would one day become their leader. When Allah granted him prophethood, his mission was clear: to call his people to Tawheed, to abandon idol worship, and to live righteously. He began his call with wisdom and gentleness. He reminded them, greater than, O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity other than Him. He brought you forth from the earth and settled you in it. So ask forgiveness of Him, then turn to Him in repentance. Indeed, my Lord is near and responsive. Surah Hud 61. This message was simple yet powerful. Worship Allah alone. Remember that Allah is your creator and sustainer. Be humble, seek forgiveness, and repent sincerely. The people's response. At first, the people were divided. Some listened with open hearts and accepted his words. They were often the weaker or humble ones in society, the shepherds, farmers, and ordinary workers. They felt the truth in his message and recognized that idols carved from stone had no power. But the leaders, the rich, and the arrogant rejected him. They said mockingly, greater than, O Salih, you were among us a man of promise before this. Do you forbid us to worship what our fathers worshipped? Indeed, we are in doubt concerning that to which you invite us. Surah Hud 62. They could not accept that a man they once admired now stood against their traditions and challenged their idols. For them, His message was not just a religious call, it was a threat to their social order and pride. The argument of the disbelievers. The disbelieving leaders of Samod argued in several ways. 1. Tradition. Our forefathers worshipped these idols. Who are you to oppose our heritage? 2. Doubt. How can we believe in something we cannot see? You claim Allah is one, but we see idols before us. 3. Status. You are just a human like us. If God wanted to send a messenger, wouldn't he send an angel? Their resistance was not based on logic but arrogance. They feared losing their authority if people followed Salih Alehe Salam. Salih Alehe Salam's patience. Despite their mockery, Prophet Salih Alehe Salam remained patient. He continued to invite them with kindness, reasoning with them, and reminding them of Allah's blessings. Look at the fertile lands Allah gave you. Look at the strong bodies He blessed you with. Look at the homes you carved in mountains for protection. All of these were signs that they should be grateful to Allah, not arrogant. The demand for a miracle. As the message spread, the leaders of Samod grew restless. They knew Salih Alehe Salam was sincere, but they refused to give up their pride. To silence him, they demanded a miracle, a sign that would prove his message was truly from Allah. They set a challenge. From a solid rock, a she-camel should emerge, alive and fully formed. This camel should be extraordinary, unlike any other animal. For them, this was an impossible task. They thought it would expose Salih Alehe Salam as a liar. The miracle of the she-camel. Salih Alehe Salam prayed to Allah, and by his command, the rock split open, and from it emerged a magnificent she-camel. The Quran describes it as Nakatullah, the she-camel of Allah. Greater than, this is the she-camel of Allah, a sign for you. Surah Hud 64. It was no ordinary animal. It was massive and majestic. It drank an entire day's worth of water from the valley. On the days it drank, no other animal would drink. On alternate days, the people drank. Its milk was abundant enough to feed the entire tribe. This was a living, walking miracle, a direct sign from Allah that Salih Alehe Salam was truly his prophet. A test of obedience. But this miracle was not just a sign, it was also a test. Prophet Salih Alehe Salam warned them. Greater than, do not harm her, lest a swift punishment seize you. Surah Hud 64. The camel belonged to Allah, and it was a sacred trust. The people were told to let her graze freely and respect her presence. Division among the people. The miracle divided the people further. The believers saw it as undeniable proof and strengthened their faith. The disbelievers grew even more stubborn. Instead of submitting, their hatred increased. They began plotting against the camel, seeing it as a threat to their pride and way of life. We saw how Allah blessed the people of Samod with prosperity, strength, and skills, and how He sent Prophet Salih Alehe Salam to guide them toward Tawheed. Despite his patient preaching and the great miracle of the she-camel Nakatullah, the majority of Samod's people remained arrogant. They saw the miracle not as a sign but as a challenge to their pride. In this part, we will explore the downward spiral of Samod, how arrogance turned to hatred, how hatred turned to violence, and how violence brought upon them the wrath of Allah. The growing hatred for the she-camel. The she-camel was a living miracle and a clear sign from Allah. Every time she walked through the valley, her majestic presence reminded people of Salih Alehe Salam's truthfulness. The believers saw it as proof, but the disbelievers saw it as humiliation. Why? Because 1. The camel disrupted their daily routines. It drank from the water on alternate days, and the people had to adjust around it. 2. It became a symbol of submission. They had to respect it, though their pride refused. 3. It weakened the arguments of their leaders, as ordinary people pointed to the camel as undeniable evidence. Instead of embracing the truth, the disbelieving chiefs fueled resentment. They whispered among themselves, This camel is a threat to our power. If people keep following Salih, we will lose our authority. We must get rid of this animal. Thus, the she-camel, instead of being a blessing, became a test that exposed the arrogance in their hearts. The believers versus the disbelievers. As days passed, the division in Samod became sharper. The believers loved the she-camel and saw her as a sacred trust. They drank her milk with gratitude and respected her presence. The disbelievers mocked the believers, calling them weak and foolish for submitting to Salih, Alehe Salam's command. They grumbled every time the camel drank from the water source. This tension grew until it became unbearable. The chiefs decided something had to be done. The conspiracy to kill the camel. The Quran tells us that 9 wicked men from among the leaders conspired together. And there were in the city 9 men who spread corruption in the land and would not reform. Surah An-Naml 48. These 9 men were known for their arrogance, corruption, and violent ways. They plotted not only to kill the camel but also to eliminate Salih, Alehe Salam, himself. Their plan was secret. 1. They would attack the she-camel when she came to drink. 2. They would kill her, thinking this would end Salih's influence. 3. After killing her, they would deny responsibility and mock Salih. But Allah is the best of planners, and he was fully aware of their conspiracy. The killing of the she-camel. One day, as the she-camel came to drink, the conspirators carried out their evil plan. With cruelty, they struck her, and she fell to the ground. They killed her and even attacked her calf, driving it into the mountains where it vanished. The Quran records this tragic moment. But they hamstrung her, so he, Salih, said, "Enjoy yourselves in your homes for 3 days." That is a promise not to be denied. Surah Hud 65. This was not just the killing of an animal, it was the rejection of a divine sign. They had crossed the final line. The reaction of Prophet Salih, Alehe Salam. When news spread, Prophet Salih, Alehe Salam, was heartbroken. He had warned them again and again, and now they had committed the ultimate act of rebellion. He turned to them and said, "You had 3 days left to enjoy yourselves in your homes. After that, the punishment of Allah will descend upon you." These words struck fear in the hearts of some, but the arrogant chiefs laughed. They mocked him. 3 days? We will see if your words come true. We killed your camel, and nothing has happened. Where is your God now? Yet, beneath their mockery, unease spread among the people. Many could not sleep at night, wondering if the warning was real. The countdown of 3 days. Salih Alehe Salam's prophecy came with a 3-day countdown, and Allah gave them signs to confirm it. 1. Day 1. Their faces turned pale. 2. Day 2. Their faces turned red. 3. Day 3. Their faces turned black, filled with despair. These signs terrified the believers, who gathered around Salih, Alehe Salam, for protection. But the disbelievers only hardened in arrogance. The plot against Salih, Alehe Salam. Instead of repenting, the 9 conspirators plotted to kill Salih, Alehe Salam, at night. They thought if they killed him secretly, they could deny it and his prophecy would fail. The Quran describes their plot. They said, "Swear to each other by Allah that we will kill him and his family by night. Then we will say to his heir, we did not witness the destruction of his family. And indeed, we are truthful." Surah An-Naml 49. But Allah protected his prophet. Their scheme failed, and they themselves became victims of Allah's plan. The great destruction. On the morning of the 4th day, when their time was up, the punishment of Allah descended. The Quran describes it in powerful words. So the earthquake seized them, and they became lifeless bodies in their homes. Surah Al-Araf 78. And the blast seized those who had wronged, and they lay dead in their homes. Surah Hud 67. A mighty earthquake shook their valley, followed by a terrible blast, Sayha, that left every soul lifeless. Their grand palaces carved into mountains could not save them. Their wealth, power, and pride, all vanished in an instant. The once flourishing civilization of Samod was reduced to silence. The only sound was the echo of destruction, a reminder that nothing can protect those who defy Allah. The survival of the believers. Only those who believed in Salih alayhi salam were saved. They had trusted Allah, respected the she-camel, and obeyed their prophet. The Quran says, greater than, so we saved those who believed and were righteous. Surah Fussilat 18. This pattern is seen in many stories of the Quran. Allah always protects the believers, while the arrogant are destroyed. Salih alayhi salam's grief. After the destruction, Prophet Salih alayhi salam turned to the ruins of his people and said with sorrow, greater than, O my people, I had indeed conveyed to you the message of my Lord, and I had advised you sincerely, but you do not love sincere advisers. Surah Al-Araf 79. These words reflect his deep pain. He had done everything to save them, but they had chosen arrogance over submission. Lessons. The Quran does not tell these stories for entertainment but for reflection. The story of Samod carries timeless lessons. 1. Blessings are a test. Wealth, power, and skill can either lead us to gratitude or arrogance. Samod chose arrogance. 2. Miracles are not enough without humility. Even the great miracle of the she-camel could not change hardened hearts. Faith requires humility. 3. Arrogance destroys nations. Pride led Samod to reject guidance and eventually to destruction. 4. Obedience brings salvation. Those who followed Salih alayhi salam were saved, proving that Allah never abandons the believers. 5. Prophets are sincere advisors. They seek no benefit but wish only to save their people. Rejecting them is rejecting Allah's mercy. When the punishment came, the once vibrant valley of Al-Hijr became silent. The Quran describes them as lifeless bodies in their homes, lying motionless where moments earlier they had been laughing, mocking, and denying. Their palaces carved into the mountains stood firm, but their owners were gone. These silent homes became monuments of warning. Salih alayhi salam and the believers, saved by Allah, looked upon these ruins with grief. For Salih alayhi salam, it was especially painful. He had grown up among these people, shared their lives, and sincerely wished for their salvation. Now, they were gone forever. The Quran's reminders of Samod. Allah repeatedly mentions Samod in the Quran, not just as history but as a living lesson. Let us look at a few reminders. 1. Surah Al-Fajr 89, 9. Greater than, and with Samod, who carved out rocks in the valley. This verse highlights their engineering skill, but it also shows how their pride in material achievements could not save them. 2. Surah Al-Haqqa 69, 4-5. Greater than, Samod and Ad denied the striking calamity. So as for Samod, they were destroyed by the overpowering blast. Here, their destruction is linked with their denial of the truth. 3. Surah Ash-Shams 91, 11-14. Greater than, Samod denied the truth in their arrogance, when the most wretched among them rose up. Then the messenger of Allah said to them, "This is the she-camel of Allah, let her drink." But they denied him and hamstrung her. So their Lord crushed them for their sin and leveled them. This passage shows how a single act, the killing of the she-camel, was the final proof of their rebellion. 4. Surah Al-Araf 7, 78-79. Greater than, so the earthquake seized them, and they lay dead in their homes. Then Salih turned away from them and said, "O my people, I had indeed conveyed to you the message of my Lord and advised you sincerely, but you do not love sincere advisers." This verse captures both their punishment and Salih's sorrow. The message behind the punishment. The Quran is clear. Allah does not destroy a people unjustly. Their punishment came only after they had been given blessings. They had received clear guidance. They had been shown a miracle. They had rejected, mocked, and finally committed open rebellion. Thus, their destruction was not sudden, it was the result of continued arrogance. Salih Alehe Salam's role after the destruction. After the destruction, Salih Alehe Salam and the believers moved on. The ruins of Samod were left behind as a sign for future generations. Salih Alehe Salam's mission did not end with their destruction. His role as a prophet was to continue spreading the message of Tawheed wherever Allah guided him. His life reminds us that a prophet's duty is to convey the truth, not to force belief. Historical remains of Samod, Al-Hijr, Madain Salih. Even today, in modern-day Saudi Arabia, the ancient rock-carved homes of Samod remain. This place is known as Al-Hijr or Madain Salih. The Prophet Muhammad himself passed by these ruins during an expedition and warned his companions. Do not enter upon these people who were punished, unless you are weeping. If you do not weep, do not enter upon them, lest what afflicted them afflict you. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. This hadith shows that these ruins are not tourist attractions, but reminders of Allah's justice. Lessons for all generations. The story of Samod is not just ancient history. It carries timeless lessons. 1. Arrogance blinds the heart. Despite their intelligence and skills, they could not accept the truth because of pride. 2. Wealth and power are temporary. Their grand palaces in mountains still stand, but their lives ended in a moment. 3. Rejecting signs brings destruction. The she-camel was not just an animal, it was a divine test. Rejecting it was rejecting Allah's authority. 4. The sincerity of prophets. Salih Alehe Salam gained nothing for himself, his mission was purely to save his people. 5. Allah's punishment is real. The story warns every arrogant nation that Allah's justice will come, no matter how powerful they are. Relevance for today's world. When we reflect on Samod's story, we see parallels in our world. Many societies today are blessed with wealth, technology, and power, just like Samod. Instead of gratitude, arrogance is widespread, people boast of achievements while ignoring Allah. Miracles of the Qur'an and signs of Allah's creation surround us, yet many still deny. Just like Samod, humanity risks destruction if arrogance replaces faith. The story is a mirror. Will we follow the path of the arrogant, or the path of the humble believers? Reflection in daily life. We can draw practical lessons from the story for our personal lives. Humility in blessings. Whenever we achieve success, remember it is from Allah, not our own power. Respect for signs. The Quran itself is the greatest sign today. Do we treat it with respect and follow its guidance? Avoid arrogance. Whether in wealth, knowledge, or status, arrogance leads to downfall. Listen to sincere advice. Just as Samod rejected Salih Alehe Salam's counsel, many people today ignore those who advise them sincerely. The final Quranic reminder. Allah concludes the story of Samod in one powerful statement. Indeed in that is a sign, but most of them were not to be believers. Surah Ash-Shu'ara 158. This verse tells us that the story is not just history, it is a sign for those who reflect. Conclusion. Full story. The people of Samod had every opportunity to live in gratitude and obedience. Instead, they chose arrogance, mocked their prophet, and rejected a living miracle. Their destruction came as a reminder that no power can stand against Allah's will. Their ruins remain on earth, but their story remains alive in the Quran, calling every generation to reflect, to humble themselves, and to submit to Allah. So travel through the land and see the end of those who denied. Surah An-Nahl 36.